What's up, guys? Go back to our video. And yesterday we got our very first teaser for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which in fact this teaser was the post-credit scene. If you guys haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, this was the teaser attached to the Spider-Man No Way Home post-credit scene. Plus, in this teaser for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it was like insane to experience, the multiverse, to see what Doctor Strange is up to after the aftermath of No Way Home. And plus, we see some returning characters in this teaser as well, including for Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and plus a new character introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is America Chavez, we play by Soji Gomez, and especially for a Strange Supreme as well, including for the multiverse being involved in this movie. Like, this movie is going to be more insane, probably more insane than Spider-Man and No Way Home. Plus, there's all Easter eggs and stuff as well. So, in this video, this will be my full breakdown of the full teaser for Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Obviously, I will point out Easter eggs and stuff that you may have missed, and could connect to other MCU movies in the future. And in this teaser, could bring in some variants and cameos from other universes. So, let's get into it. So the teaser starts with some dialogue that we hear from Wong saying, "Don't cast that spell, it's too dangerous." And with Doctor Strange saying, "We tamper with the stability of space-time, that the multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little." And with this dialogue, this is exactly what we heard from the trailer from Spider-Man No Way Home, and plus with that dialogue with being involved, and plus with the spell that Doctor Strange performed in Spider-Man No Way Home to make everyone forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. They messed with the multiverse. And spoilers if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, but we saw some multiversal threats come in as like the multiverse was like shattering, and the spell was like performed, obviously, of course, but because with the spell that like Doctor Strange cast, it messing with the multiverse, it could like bring in other multiversal threats, and that's what leading into this multiversal war. And from what we learned from the events of Loki, we experienced the multiverse in the Loki series. Of what we learned about the multiverse, and with the variants of the same people, but they act differently because they're variants of the same people. And in the Loki series, we saw different versions of Loki, Loki variants. And with the King, the Conqueror, we were introduced to like many versions of King. I mean, there's many versions of King in the comics, but with King, it was a good version of King. And with Sylvie, she unleashed the multiverse, like killing King with these many different branches of reality branching out, so many branches, and they're gonna overlap with each individual universes, and with all the branches branching out, the multiverse is now out of control, which is now in madness of what we're gonna experience in this movie. The next, we see this watch, and then it's all cracked, and plus this is the exact same watch that we saw at the end of the first Doctor Strange movie, where we see the Doctor Strange in his full outfit, and as a watch looking at the same window. Next, we see Doctor Strange going out to see a city or a full of buildings coming apart. And now this is the exact same thing that we saw in What If, the Doctor Strange episode, where we saw like all of the buildings and cities, buildings shattering and coming apart. So like What If is now canon to the MCU and being involved in Multiverse of Madness. Next, we see Doctor Strange walking up to the stairs, and what looks to be the sanctum, but it looks to be dark and all flooded with water. But the last time we saw the sanctum in Spider-Man No Way Home, it was covered in snow, and in this movie, what we saw here in the teaser is that the sanctum is all flooded, and which it indicates is that like with the multiversal threats is what causing the sanctum to be flooded. Next, we hear Doctor Strange saying that he never meant for any of this to happen, and then we see him look up at something, and then other people in the background are obviously running from something, and then we see someone using red glowing magic, and this could possibly be from Wanda, because if y'all remember from WandaVision, she tried to use magic on people in her own fake reality, or as Agatha calls it in WandaVision, like chaos magic, in which Wanda was doing what she was doing in WandaVision. Exactly what she was doing. She was using chaos magic, which is what the red like glow magic is. And then we see Christine Palmer at her wedding, and like Strange is there as well. But if you notice, like Christine is there to marry someone, just not Strange. But because at the end of the last Doctor Strange movie, Strange and Christine Palmer like part like ways, like, they're no longer friends. But because like Doctor Strange wanted his life in the sanctum as a sorcerer, and then with Christine Palmer, like she's not going to marry Strange. Then we get some really quick footage of like Crow and Wong, and what looks like to be America Chavez, who's going to be played by Soji Gomez, and with a star on the back of her jacket, which is also be called Miss America as well. And like we see Strange being thrown on in the multiverse, and then we see the Marvel Studios intro, which is like kind of different because there's some like Marvel intros that are in this intro from like over the past few years that are referencing to different characters, probably from like X-Men, the Fantastic Four, or like the Deadpool as well, and with different kinds of Marvel intros being involved in this Marvel intro as well. We could see like different variants of the different Fox characters, even with the multiverse being involved as well. Next, we see Doctor Strange going through the woods, and he spots Wanda, and then we see Wanda cutting some flowers off a tree, and then we see her talking to Strange, and then the next scene she says like I made mistakes and people were hurt, and then Doctor Strange says he's not here to talk about Westview. He's exactly referring to the events that happened in WandaVision, because if y'all remember from the events that happened in WandaVision, Doctor Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision, but never did because with those commercials that were in WandaVision. And there were like messages from Doctor Strange, and if y'all remember, like back in spoilers, if you've seen the WandaVision finale, Wanda hurted a lot of people in her fake reality using chaos magic, and in the WandaVision post credits scene, we saw like the Scarlet Witch in her into the dark old book, and then she hurt her own kids. And I even know that, and then from there. So now within the events that happened in WandaVision and Spider-Man No Way Home, the very two connected are being involved in this movie. And next he says, what do you know about the multiverse? And which Wanda knows exactly about the multiverse, because in WandaVision she like broke open the multiverse. She messed with her own fake reality, and with the events that happen in WandaVision, they're also being involved in Multiverse of Madness, and from Wanda's knowledge of the multiverse. The next what we see is probably the multiverse, and then we see Strange looking outside, like he's like opening the door, and then we see him in the background is America Chavez, or possibly a Christine Palmer, but because she's not going to marry Strange, is that they're probably going out to look at the multiverse with Doctor Strange, at which this is now like the multiverse. And then we see Doctor Strange and Wong, like I said, to be that training ground, like that training camp that like Doctor Strange went through to become a sorcerer. And then we see some dark clouds coming in, and it must be something related to like a villain, or like something like a very unusual threats coming in. And with this movie being more insane, this is like probably gonna be like more dark than No Way Home. And then we see Wanda in her full Scarlet Witch form performing magic in front of candles. And what we know is like from her outfit, this is like a kind of an upgrade from what we saw in WandaVision, because in the finale of WandaVision, we saw like the Scarlet Witch's full outfit. I thought it was awesome. But in Multiverse of Madness, this was like a big upgrade from what we saw in WandaVision, and now she has a new Scarlet Witch outfit. The next we hear something like probably from a mortal saying that the greatest threat to our universe is you, and then the next we see is Gargano's like throwing a bus at Doctor Strange and America Chavez, and with Gargano's he's like a sea monster, which we see here in this teaser with Gargano's being involved. Plus we all know that it's not the Shumakugord, it's what we saw in What If. So there's probably a What If connections like in this movie, but this is like Gargano's like a bus at Doctor Strange and America Chavez. And then the teaser ends with a first look at Strange Supreme saying things just gotten out of hand, and then we see a Doctor Strange looking at a variant of himself, looking all confused. And now with us, Strange Supreme being involved in Multiverse of Madness, and now What If is now canon to the MCU, and now that there are What If connections relating to Multiverse of Madness. And yeah, within this teaser for Multiverse of Madness, it's supposed to be more insane than No Way Home, and spoilers if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home. We saw the Spider-Verse being involved in No Way Home, and it's supposed to be more insane than Multiverse of Madness because we're like going to see like cameos and like variants of like characters from other universes, probably from the Fox universe as well, including the X-Men, Fantastic Four, or a Deadpool or a mutants being involved in this movie as well. It's going to be so mind-blowing to see all these characters from other different universes being involved in the multiverse. We're finally gonna see Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and find someone, and this is also introduced for America Chavez and Wong being involved as well. And plus with Doctor Strange, is gonna have his hands full from the aftermath of No Way Home. He's gonna have his hands full in this one as well. So yeah, this movie is gonna be pretty insane and pretty crazy as about to head into 2022. And we're starting off 2022 with Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, this movie is gonna be insane and mind-blowing, and we're not ready for this. So that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and what you thought of this teaser from Multiverse of Madness and what you thought about it. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe and throw a notification bell for future videos. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter for live updates. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.